FBI announcing today it's not recommending any charges against Hillary Clinton after a very lengthy investigation into the private email servers she used during her 4 years as Secretary of State. But the Bureau's director also offered a very stinging assessment of Hillary Clinton's handling of classified information, saying she and her staff were extremely careless. We heard from the Republican Party Chairman Reince Priebus just a moment ago. Let's get some Democratic reaction. We're joined now by the former White House special counsel during the Clinton administration, a longtime friend of the Clintons, Lanny Davis, went to law school with Hillary Clinton, I believe, as well. Lanny, thanks very much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
This was no charges recommended, but a blistering indictment of her judgment, extremely careless in handling not just information, but the most sensitive classified information. How could she do that, not just for a week or 2 weeks, but for 4 years?
Well, she already said she made a mistake. It's very ironic that Donald Trump and now Reince Priebus and other Republicans are accusing an FBI director of rigging his decision. So instead of moving on and talking about issues the American people care about, Trump is actually now attacking the head of the FBI as being rigged the way he attacked a federal judge. So this is where we are. Reince Priebus really questioning the FBI
Lanny, you worked in the government. You know what classified information is. You know that there's confidential information. That's the lowest form. Secret, top secret, special access programs. I mean, she had on her email servers, and he said today there wasn't just one, there were multiple email servers on her various devices. There wasn't just one, there were several devices she was using, the most sensitive kind of classified information, and some of it, small number, but some of it was marked classified when she sent and received that information, which is not what she had been saying for all these months.
So a good faith belief in making a mistake in Washington is, even in Washington, a distinction between intentional misconduct, which is a crime. The FBI director made the judgment, despite a headline in the New York Times of criminal conduct that was withdrawn, there is no intent here. So whatever she looked at, she did not believe at the time.
You heard Reince Priebus say it was gross negligence.
Well,
will you at least acknowledge it was gross negligence?
Mr. Justice Priebus is disagreeing with the judgment of the FBI director appointed by a Republican president to be U.S. attorney, a professional
So you trust Comey, right?
Well,
you trust Comey because he said any reasonable person should have known this information was classified. It should not have been on her server. You agree with him on that?
I actually question whether Mr. Comey's role is to express an opinion like that, but I respect Mr. Comey. He's a former prosecutor, former deputy attorney general.
These FBI professionals, as you know, they spend thousands of hours going through all of this, and when they say any reasonable person, let alone the Secretary of State, should have known, you don't put this kind of information on personal email servers, that was negligent on Hillary Clinton's part.
Let me repeat. Number one, she said it was a mistake. Number two, Trump, Priebus, and a lot of partisans are making this pure politics, attacking a federal judge, now attacking Comey, really.
But Comey's the one saying she was extremely careless.
And he said extremely careless, but he said it doesn't rise to the level of having the intent.
No charges, but he also said she should never have used these personal email devices when she was traveling in unfriendly countries. He didn't mention those countries, but I assume Russia or China or other countries, because those countries can easily hack all of that information, and it's probable, he said, that they had access to her email account for 4 years.
He actually said the word possible.
He said it was possible. It was very possible.
And we know that the Russians and the Chinese have hacked the very State Department server that she is supposed to have used. And he also said there is not intent to commit a crime. And Priebus and Trump and partisan Republicans are attacking, I can't say it enough, the FBI director.
They're raising questions about her judgment as Secretary of State of the United States.
Yes.
That because she didn't want FOIA requests to get her information, Freedom of Information Act, she created this private email account because she didn't want the American public to have access to state.gov information, which she would have used if she were doing the normal government email account.
That's imputing a motive to the secretary by Priebus and Trump, who imputed a motive to a federal judge. because of his national heritage. Let me just repeat. She said it was a mistake.
It was a mistake because she didn't want the American public, including her political critics, to get access to that information. That's why she used these private email servers?
That's an accusation made by
why did she? So why did she use these private email servers? You're close with her. When you said, Hillary, what were you thinking? Why were you doing this? What did she say to you?
I haven't asked her that.
Why haven't you asked her that?
Because I've heard her say that she was concerned about privacy, and that's one of the reasons.
Because of the FOIA requests.
Not because of the FOIA requests. Those are charges made by Republicans. But let me one more time repeat. I am not impugning the director for his integrity the way Trump is. Even one of your guests today, a Republican congressman, and now we have Speaker Ryan impugning the integrity of Mr. Comey. I do think Mr. Comey went beyond his jurisdiction by expressing opinions on evidence when he's supposed to be an investigator finding evidence, but I still respect the man. I certainly wouldn't attack his integrity the way you've heard Donald Trump once again attack somebody.
You know all of her closest aides. Why didn't they tell her over 4 years, not just 4 days, over 4 years, Madam Secretary, this is not appropriate. There's classified information here. You're sending out this information to various people who don't have access to classified information. Why didn't someone go to her and say, you know what, this is a mistake?
I'll answer that in two ways. One, I'll repeat. She said it was a mistake, and wisdom is hindsight. She didn't realize.
But didn't her aides tell her, you know what, this is a problem, Madam Secretary. You should not be using all of this sensitive information with private email servers.
I said two ways. First, wisdom is hindsight for you to say what her aides should have done back then.
Comey said this should have been evident to any reasonable person. This was a blunder.
That's his opinion. And wisdom is hindsight, and she said she made a mistake. There's no other way I can answer. The second is this judgment. President Obama talked about Secretary Clinton's judgment to go in and kill Osama bin Laden, judgment to settle the intervention in Gaza.
We're not discussing that, but
her judgment is going to be up to the American people, and if that's what the issue is before the American people, her judgment versus the reckless, volatile, unstable judgment of Donald Trump, we'll leave that to the American people.
All right. Lanny Davis joining us back like the old days during the Clinton administration when you were the special counsel. Thanks very much.